Okay, today we're going to start on 41a by the Mishnah. Starts the bottom. Thank Hashem that you're able to learn Torah every day. Most of our learning we have the base of Migdash immediately. Learning also for fortunately for my father and also for Naftali ben Menucha Bela. Okay, so the Mishnah starts like this. Amaitzi Shivri Tzlamim. We learned so far in the Mishnah that there's a machlekes for Meir and the Chachamim regarding an image that's not holding anything in its hand, just a statue. According to Reb Meir, it's considered an idol and you can't have any benefit from it. According to Chachamim, no, it's just a statue. Not necessarily was it ever worshipped or anything. There's statues, if it's holding a stick or that's a different story. Now, in our Mishnah, we have someone finds broken pieces of a image. You're allowed to have benefit from these broken pieces. What do you do with them? No, you melt it down or whatever it is. You use it for something. Let's say the broken piece, or maybe it wasn't a broken piece, but you find an image of a hand or an image of a foot. It says Harei elu asurim. Then this is going to be prohibited. Could be it's a broken piece, could be that it came from a bigger statue, but it doesn't matter because this is considered a full idol, because people actually worship the image of a hand or the image of a foot. That was something that they worship. Now Rashi explains the beginning of the Mishnah that we're dealing with a svek sveka. Why did we say that broken pieces are permissible? Is because there's a suffix, a doubt. Maybe this was never worshipped. Even if it was worshipped, maybe it's broken, and we know it's broken, but maybe it was being destroyed so that it should not, so that the person was mevatel it, that it shouldn't be worshipped anymore. No, that has to do with bittul. That has to do with other things. Also, that would be something that was created like that. The barrier is created. This is something that was man-made. You don't say the barrier usually by man-made. Say other things, but okay. So we have now a statement in the Mishnah that broken pieces are mutter. Amar Shmuel comes along Shmuel and says there's a little bit of a problem with the way we just explained the Mishnah. Shmuel says afilu shivra avedis kichavim. We just explained the Mishnah saying that what's the reason why a broken piece off an image is mutter? Because it's a svek sveka. Maybe it was never worshipped, and even if it was worshipped, maybe he nullified it. He stopped. When someone breaks it, he says, "Okay, this is not an idol anymore." Maybe, all right. So we had a svek sveka, but it comes along Shmuel and says, "No, it's mutter even if it was actually worshipped." There goes the svek sveka. It's only maybe one suffix left. Why? Because now he broke it, so we say it's not worshipped. But that's the only thing that's left is that it's broken. The Gemara says, one second, Shmuel, how could you say that? Banantan shivrei tzlamim. We only said that broken pieces off an image. We didn't say that it was an idol. An idol is much stricter. And if the Mishnah wanted to tell me that this halacha would be applied even to a stricter case, then it should have said so outright. I wouldn't derive from the Mishnah has a more lenient case that it's going to apply to the stricter case. There's a difference in an image versus an idol. An image maybe was worshipped, an idol was definitely worshipped. Broken piece off an image doesn't mean broken piece off an image is permissible. Doesn't mean broken piece off an idol is permissible. And from Shmuel, he's saying clearly yes. In the Mishnah, it appears that it's not like Shmuel, because the Mishnah only says broken pieces off an image. The Gemara explains to answer Shmuel. It says, really, the Mishnah wanted to tell me that broken pieces off an idol are also permissible. They wanted to tell me the stricter case is going to be more lenient. So why did you say the more lenient case is lenient? Now I don't know the stricter case. He said, no, we were teaching me something else. From the Kabbalah Mishneh Seifa. Mishnah wanted to go on and tell me the second case of the Mishnah, which is matzah tavnis yad tavnis regel, harelu asurim pnei sheketz b'hem nevad. So wanted to tell me that a strict case about a lenient case. See, the first part of the Mishnah is telling me a leniency in a lenient case. It wasn't worshipped. It was just an image, and we're being lenient because it's broken. So we thought that tells me that a strict case where it was worshipped, then I can't be lenient when it's broken, which is a kasha on Shmuel, a question on Shmuel. The Gemara is saying, no, that's not what it's telling me. It's telling me the opposite. It wanted to tell me the second case of the Mishnah. That's where our emphasis is. And over there, the second case of the Mishnah is that you're strict when it's an image of a hand or a foot. Now, 1 second. Maybe I'm only restricted by the image of a hand of a foot if that hand or foot was once worshipped. But if it's just a hand of a foot of an image, maybe I'll be lenient. Comes along the Mishnah and says, we're dealing with the image, that you're strict even by a hand of a foot of an image that was possibly never worshipped. You're still strict. That's why we use the word term image. Not to tell me that if it would have been an idol and it's broken, it would be prohibited. He used the term image to tell me that if it's a hand or a foot, it's going to be strict. You follow? You got the... What do you mean for a Jew? Who's having benefits from it? A Jew or a non-Jew? Of course, a Jew. Yeah. How would you even learn it if it would be a non-Jew?
I would think there would be strict by the Jew. I would think maybe this leniency would be given to the non-Jews.
No. We're talking about having benefit from it. There is a discussion coming up, the difference between Jews and non-Jews, but not in this discussion. It's coming up soon. Tanan, we learned in the Mishnah. Matzah tavnis yad tavnis regel. If someone finds, we learned in our Mishnah, someone finds an image of a hand or image of a foot, harelu asurim, it's prohibited, because this is the type of thing that gets worshipped even on its own. My Bashvarim Nino, 1 second, it's broken. So what that it's worshipped on its own? It's broken. So Shmuel says that if you break, that if something's broken, even if it's an idol, it becomes permissible. Once it's broken.
It's part of the tradition. Once it's broken, it's
right. So Shmuel gives an answer. Tirgum Shmuel, or we answer according to Shmuel maybe. We're talking about over here that it's standing on a platform. There's some sort of base. Basis means a base. There's a base that is put on, and therefore it's clear that this is something that's being worshipped independently. Taisvis has a very important question. He says, I have 2 cases in the Mishnah. I have one case where a broken piece is permissible. I have another case where a broken piece is prohibited. What does the question have to do with Shmuel? It's a contradiction on the Mishnah. Why are you mixing Shmuel into this? The same kasha that you just asked, you can ask without Shmuel. In the beginning you said it's permissible when it's broken. Then you say it's prohibited. You just contradicted yourself. And we'll answer it that it's put on a base. You found it's broken, but it was next to a base, which means that it was worshipped independently. But what does it have to do with Shmuel? Taisva says, if not for Shmuel, we could have answered this. We could have said that the Reisha is talking about where it's permissible was talking about a tselem, that it was an image, but not an idol. It was just a statue. The Sefer that says that it's Asr was talking about an idol. And you have a simple teretz. But comes along Shmuel and tells me that you can't give a teretz like that, because even if it's an idol, if it's broken, it's permissible. You can't answer the kasha according to Shmuel. So now that's why we asked the question. We asked the question specifically on Shmuel. You follow? Yeah. Okay. Itmar. We have a statement which is going to take us through the next page and a half. Yeah. This is the important piece right here. This is the basis. for the next page and a half of Gemara. It starts like this. Avodas kechavim shenishtabra. Itmar is a statement of Amram, which usually means it's a machlekes coming up. If there is a avodas kechavim, an idol that's broken me'ila on its own, it just disintegrated, it fell apart. We were talking before that if the person breaks it, then he's nullifying it and it's not considered an idol anymore. If there's an idol that a non-Jew owns, and he decides, he prays to it, it doesn't help him, gets upset with it, he says, that's it, you're not my idol anymore. I'm finding a new idol, I'm done with you. So he cracks it in half. So that's not an idol anymore because the non-Jew himself that worshipped it broke it. He nullified it. He says it's not an idol. He's the one that made it. He broke it. The non-Jew can make it into a non-idol anymore. That's it. You're not. There's nothing special about you. Now, what happens if it breaks on its own? What do we say now? Well, Rabbi Yechanan Marsur. Rabbi Yechanan says that it's aser. Shimon ben Lakish Amar Mutar. Shimon ben Lakish says that it's permissible. Take a look at this. Rabbi Yechanan Marsur. Rabbi Yechanan says that it's prohibited. Leibatla. The non-Jew never broke it. He didn't say that it doesn't work. It just happened to fall and it broke. Still, but maybe he still wants to worship it. Reb Shimon ben Lakish says no, it's permissible. Even though he wasn't the one that broke it, but when he looks at now the broken pieces, he's probably going to say, "Oh, you're worthless," because Meimar Amar, he would definitely say to himself, if this idol can't protect itself from being broken, it's going to help me from being broken. If the idol can't protect itself, it's going to protect me. So, okay, don't put all your hopes on each argument, because if they come up with a solution, then you say, oh, no, we lost it. Okay. Well, Esir Rabbi Yechanan Reb Shimon ben Lakish. Rabbi Yechanan has a question. Reish Lakish over here is the lenient one. Rabbi Yechanan is the strict one. Reish Lakish says that if it breaks, it's permissible. So Rabbi Yechanan has a question from a story in Nach. Is Daniel on? Let's see. No. I think this was by when the when the Aron was taken to the different camps of the Pelishtim, and they try to keep it in a place where they respect it, so they put it in the house of Dagon. It says Reish Dagon or stay cups the other cruces. They found it in the morning. They said that the head of Dagon, it had this idol had fallen over, and the head and the two hands had fallen off. And it says afterwards, Al Ken Yidchu Kani Dagon. It says that because the hands and the head of this idol had broken off and had fallen on the threshold, so then the priests would not step on that threshold anymore. They've considered it holy. They said, 1 second, it broke on its own, and they're considering it holy. So you see that something breaks. What Rish Lakish is saying, it becomes permissible. You have a clear psukim. That's your proof. Rish Lakish says to Rabbi Yechanan, they're not worshiping the broken idol, they're worshiping the threshold. Because the Amri Hachi, they said the following: Shavke Israel Dagan, the term Israel means like the power. The power of Dagan has left it, and now the power of Dagan is now like transferred over to the threshold. So now they're worshiping the threshold. So, okay, it's not because the broken image. Basically, Rish Lakish is saying it's not a proof that the broken image is still considered, powerful, divine, or something. Threshold is stronger. Yeah. Somehow it moved over to the threshold. They asked the question. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we have a question like this. We quote the Mishnah. If you find broken pieces of an idol, So the halacha is, the Mishnah says, you're allowed to have benefit from those broken pieces. 1 second. Who broke it? It broke on its own. So it seems like you're allowed to have broken. It seems to be a proof to Rish Lakish. Comes along Rabbi Yochanan and says, no. Asurim. But if it would be broken pieces of an actual idol, then that would be asur. It's a raya to Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan is asking a question on Rish Lakish. It says, from the Mishnah, I can derive a question that I can ask on you. It implies that it's only if it's an image would it be mutter, but if it would be an actual idol, it would be asur. Now, this does not fit with Shmuel. The Shmuel just explained to us that the Mishnah is also talking about an idol, but Rabbi Yochanan isn't following Shmuel. Gemara says, so for Rish Lakish, how do we resolve this? You have to be medayik differently. You have to say that the image itself is asur before it's broken. Now that's a machlekes. That's a machlekes between Reb Meir and the Chachamim. The chiddush of the Mishnah is not that if it would be an idol, it would be asur. The chiddush of the Mishnah is that if it's an image, it's asur. Which we had yesterday was a machlekes Reb Meir and the Chachamim. Mustamak Reb Meir. The chiddush of the Mishnah is telling me that when you have a machlekes, then you have a stam. The halacha is like the stam. If you start off with an argument, then afterwards you have an anonymous Mishnah that follows one of them, it means that we've resolved our argument and we're following the opinion of Reb Meir. If it's the other way, then it would say the other way. If you start off with something that's anonymous and then afterwards you say that there's a machlekes, then you say that what I told you before is not so simple. Don't accept it. There's another opinion there. But if I start off with two opinions and then afterwards I only follow one, I continue with just one opinion. I'm telling you something serious. I'm telling you that's the one we're accepting. So the Mishnah is telling me, Stomach Reb Meir, that an image, even if it's not holding a ball or a stick or a bird, it's still going to be asur. Okay. Rabbi Yochanan, so you think you resolved the whole issue here? He told me that the chiddush is that we're paskening like Reb Meir, that Stam Mishnah, this Mishnah is Reb Meir. The question's still there. Rabbi Yochanan explains like this. He would explain. Midi Reb Meir nishmul Rabbanan. So what? Okay, you're passing like Reb Meir. Excellent. Now let's go to the Rabbanan and say, Lav Ami Reb Meir tzlam masurim shiritzam mutarim. What does Reb Meir hold? Reb Meir says that an image itself, whether it's holding something or not, is prohibited to have benefit from. But if it's broken, it's mutar. So the Rabbanan, what would the Rabbanan hold? That it would need to be an actual idol to be. So Avedis kechavnami hi asurish v'ram mutarim. That it itself is prohibited, but its broken pieces should be permissible. So now it's a kasha back on Rabbi Yochanan. Says hachi hashta. Hold it. Hasam emer avdom emer loy avdom. Over there by the image, when it's broken, we have a svek sveka. So we mentioned before, there's a svek sveka. Maybe it was worshipped, maybe it wasn't worshipped. Now, what are we going to do? It's like a flowchart, Was it worshipped? Was it not worshipped? Now, if it was worshipped, if it was worshipped, maybe it was nullified. Even on that side that this is a problem, but we still have a doubt. Maybe it was nullified. That's called the svek sveka. That in one of the approaches of looking at a svek sveka is you start off with 100%. This is a problem. Oh, there's a doubt. Okay, now it's only 50%. Now on the part that's problematic, that 50%, that I have another doubt. Okay, now I'm down to 25% problem. So basically the odds are against saying that this is an issue, right? It's 75-25, that this is okay. So that's one of the approaches of a svek sveka. You can also view it like this. You can say that when you start off, it's a deraisa. Now when you have a suffix, so suffix deraisa, when you have a doubt about a biblical law, so the rabbis tell us we have to be strict. So now I'm down to a rabbinic law, where the rabbis tell me I need to be strict. Now I have a doubt about the rabbinic law, because I have another doubt on this. So a doubt about a rabbinic law, I'm lenient. There's two approaches to looking at Svek Sveka, but whatever the case is, when you have a double suffix. So, but when it comes to our case, when it comes to the Rabbanan, we're talking about Avodah Kechavim, Badi Avdua. They definitely worshipped it. That's why you're saying it's an idol. Miyemer de Batla. But how do you know that it was nullified just because it broke? Havi Safik Uvadai. Maybe it was nullified, maybe it wasn't nullified. Vein Safik Maitzimi de Vadai. But a doubt doesn't take away from what I know definite. This was definitely worshipped. You're not sure if it was nullified. We say we still consider it something worshipped, and we say that it's prohibited. He has to nullify it. Nullify it is that he says that this is not an idol anymore. So, and we're not sure if he said that. Rish Lakish says, oh, he definitely said that. If he can't protect itself, he definitely said that it's not, that it's worthless. Whether he said it outright or he thought it, it's not. I'm not sure if the commentaries discuss that. But anyway, that's what we're holding now. Machlekes Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish, and Rabbi Yochanan is explaining that if I have a suffix, if it was nullified, but it was definitely worshipped, so the suffix, the doubt, suffix means a doubt. The doubt doesn't take away from the definite. Okay. Gemara now asks, a doubt doesn't take away from something definite. But Tanya, but we have a brisa that says the following. Chaver Shemei is if you have a person that's always strict about Shumas and Maisus and Tahara, everything, and he passed away, and he left a like this time you wanted to say something?
I'm sorry.
And he left a basket or a barrel that's full of fruits. How do you translate Magura? Storehouse. Okay. A storehouse full of fruits. I feel in Bnei Yaiman, even if they were all harvested today. You can assume that he had fixed them, he had taken the chumas and maisus off it. And now right? We're talking about people show up to the Shiva, they want to start eating, and they say, but 1 second, how do we know if your father fixed it already? So we say, well, he probably did. Gemara says, 1 second. They definitely had a problem. They definitely were tevel. They needed to be fixed. Fixed means that the truma was taken. Unfixed means the truma wasn't taken. Right? When they were ripened, when they were harvested, they had an obligation for truma to take the trumas and maisus. That's definite. Question is, did he fix them? Did he separate the things that need to be separated? So, and now we have a doubt. Well, did he take the maiser or not? And we say that the doubt takes away from the definite. So what did Rabbi Yochanan tell me before? That the doubt doesn't take away from the definite. It's not true. We have a case where the doubt does take away from the definite. So it's Hassan Vadi and Vadi, those are both definites. The Vadi Asrinu, he definitely took Maisa. Reb Chanina Chuzal, like Reb Chanina Chuzal said, Reb Chanina Chuzal, Chazak al Chavar Shina Meitzah Davar Shina Mesuk Mitachas Yadei. There's a Chazaka that a Chavar would never allow anything that wasn't fixed to leave his hands. This person, even on his deathbed, there's a Chazaka, there's an assumption, which is a very strong logic, that he would never allow. He would make sure that before he passed away that Meiser was taken. Well, we could take this the other way. We could say Safek b'Safeku. It's a doubt, and it's another doubt. How does the doubt? How did it start off with a doubt? It's produce that needs to be Truma and Meiser needs to be taken. After David K'dir Rabbi Shia, maybe he did the trick that Rabbi Shia talks about. That he says, there is a trick of taking the grain into the house. The rules of Meiser is that you're allowed to eat from the grain on a temporary basis before it's taken, before the truma is taken, before it's brought into the house. But there is a trick of bringing it into the house and still eating it on a temporary basis. And that is if you don't take the chaff off, then it's not considered the finished product. But only be chayev in the Trumas and Maaseh that I won't be able to use it on a temporary basis, even on a temporary basis, only when if it's a finished product. So what you did was you brought it in together with all the chaff, all with the straw and everything, brought it into the house. The animal can still eat from it on it. Animals, their eating is temporary. Human eating is considered. If you make it into bread or something, then that would be a problem.
What about if you bring it through and not through the threshold?
Oh, then there was another thing about not bringing through the door. So he's saying that he brought it in with maybe it's a doubt if it's even chayav in Trumas and Maaseh because he did this trick. He brought it in like that, and now we have a question: did he take the Trumas and Maaseh also? So that's a doubt on a doubt. It's a doubt if it was even chayav. It's another doubt if he took it. So it's a doubt on a doubt, and that's acceptable. The Gemara says, 1 second. You still want to hold by this? That a doubt cannot take away something that's definite. But Tanya, but we have a brayso from Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Ma'aseh b'shevchase shel matzik echad." I have here matzik means according to Rashi, means a powerful individual, a bully. And Taisvus quotes an oppressor. Okay, Taisvus quotes the Tosefta that has a different version that says that he was just a olive farmer. So there's a story over here with the maid of this Jewish person. Oh, he's an olive farmer, or he's a strong person. Anyway, what happened? In a place called Rimain. Shitila nefel labar. This maid had a miscarriage, and she had given birth over a pit. So the baby had fallen into the pit, the fetus. Now, Uba Kayan, the Kayan came to Hitzitz, and he went to check. Is it a male or a female? Why do you want to do this? He wanted to know how long she's going to be tummy. Is she going to be tummy for 7 days, or is she going to be tummy for 14 days? If it's a female, she's tummy for 14 days. If it's a male, she's tummy only for 7 days. Taisa says that he was a fool because he's not supposed to be checking this out.
She's Jewish.
Yeah.
So then, right. So what's
Right. It's tummy to send someone else. And even if it's his wife? I don't know if the shifcha could be a wife. Can't be considered related to it. Maybe you want to say it's a no.
That's what it sounds like. That's why is there a question? She's not Jewish.
It says Gavra Alma Yisrael, so it's not a Kohen, so it's not a wife.
No, 1 second. It's a slave of this person, of this Jew, of this strong person, this powerful person. A Kohen came along and looked into, Stam Kohen came and looked to see if it was a male or female. But myself, the story came to the sages, V'tiruhu, and they said that he's pure. They shechulda badlus mitzim because they have weasels and bobcats that are I don't know what that is, but that's an animal that are there, and they probably took the fetus and ran off with it. So even when he was trying to look in, he did not stretch himself out over a corpse, and so therefore he wasn't mahil. He didn't. He did not become impure. It says v'hacha devada yitila nefel safek arur safek leigurul. Take a look at this. Was there a fetus there? Yes. Did he lean over it or not? It depends. Was the animal there or was it not? Did the animal drag it away or not? We don't know. But it's a doubt, definitely a doubt. And the sages said that he's pure. That means that a doubt takes away what's definite. Definite, it was there. Doubt, Definite that it was that there was a fetus there. Doubt if it was still there. And we say that he's Zara. The Gemara says, we can correct this. We can say like this. Don't say that she gave birth to a fetus into the to a miscarriage into the pit. She had given birth to something in the pit. We don't know what it was. 1 second. Of course you know what it was. He wanted to know if it was male or female. So what do you think it was? It says Hachi Kamar. We don't know what she gave birth to. Maybe it was just wind that she had given birth to, and maybe it was a fetus. And if you say that it was a fetus, then he wanted to see if it was male or female. So it was a double doubt over there. We don't even know if there was anything there. And then, so therefore, it was a doubt if the animal took it away. That's just a doubt on a doubt. And that's why the sages said that it's permissible. We're talking about if you have something that was definite, and then we have a doubt if it's still a problem. We were saying, Rabbi Yochanan says that it's still a problem. And we were saying that we have proofs that it's not a problem. And this is one of them.
Isn't it fake but only the Rabbanan stuff? But here,
No. The fake is on the Deraisa.
What's the difference we once learned?
One suffix.
There's no like Sfeiko, but the rice is Sfeiko, but the Rabbanans.
Yeah, Sfeiko and the Rabbanan is even more lenient. But here, we're lenient by a suffix, Sfeiko and the Deraisa. All right. So they said, they joked, they said Mary had a little lamb and the doctor fainted.
Oh, the doctor what? Fainted.
The doctor fainted.
Oh, that's Sfeiko the rice, from a Sfeiko.
Yeah. Okay. Iba Yisema. If you want, we could give another answer over here. We have no question. It's not a suffix. Did the weasel or the bobcat take away the fetus? It definitely did, because we know what they do. We consider that 100% that it took it away. So we were saying maybe it took it away, and therefore the doubt is going to take away something that's definite. We said no, it's definite. Eisvei. Where's the question? What's the tavnis yad tavnis regal hariel asurim? We said that if he finds the image of a hand or the image of a foot, then it's going to be asur. This is our Mishnah. And because this is something that's worshipped. Amai hashvarim nino. 1 second. The kasha and Rish Lakish. Rish Lakish says that if it's broken, it becomes permissible, even if it wasn't broken on purpose. The Mishnah says we have a broken thing, it's a hand, and we say that it's asur. So take mashmul b'amdan al basisan. No, this is not considered broken because this is placed on a platform, some sort of base that's holding it. So this was worshipped as is. Okay. Esrei. Gemara has a question. What is that? Toy soldiers? Yeah. Those are not the idols. We don't.
No, but they're very cheap, and the only way to keep them up is with the base.
Oh, the base. Oh, that's what you mean. No, I was thinking different. I was assuming that a base was like something like that. It was in the idol, but on top, yeah, it was like elevated like that. I have to clean this up. Okay, got it. Okay. So, you got to get the trophies back. Eisvei, the Gemara has a question. A non-Jew, this is a very important piece. A non-Jew can nullify his own idol, and he can also nullify his friend's idol. But a Jew cannot nullify an idol of a non-Jew. Where it says 1 second. Why can't the Jew nullify the idol of the non-Jew? Amai. If it falls on its own, according to Rish Lakish, it's nullified. So if the Jew knocks it over, it's not considered like it fell on its own. Why can't it be nullified? Amar Abaya shepachsa. Over here we're talking about that the Jew banged it with a hammer, so it lost its image. The image is gone, but it didn't lose anything from the material. All the material is still there. Notice it didn't break in half. It just is dented. Right? That's what they used to do to the dolls. Years ago, they used to break the noses off the dolls. They'd get a new doll. Remember that?
Yep. Yeah, remember. You get something new and they would break a little bit so that it would be an image. Yeah.
We would have the chess pieces.
Right.
It'd break the cross off the king.
Yeah, all my chess pieces. Yeah, I'll take a second.
No,
But I told it before, my stepfather, rest in peace, who's just had his Yortzeit Aleph Av, all right? He was the major in the Polish army. The Polish army was taken over by the Russian army. The Russian army went, they gave him a new Russian, he was like a major, hat, to wear, and he looked at the hat and had a cross on top and right in front of the light, the general took the cross off and put it on.
Well,
Yeah,
the Gemara says, what's the difference if it's pachsa? Once you dent it, once you deform the image, how do they translate pachsa? Deform? Dented it, or deformed the image, so then it's batal. It says, yeah, but that's hanimil de pachsa v'tkichavim. That's only if it was deformed by the non-Jew. But if the Jew deforms it, it doesn't become nullified. Okay. So in other words, we're not dealing with an actually cracked one. We're dealing with deformed, and that's why we're saying that there's a difference. Rava gives a different teretz. Now the Gemara is going to run with Rava's teretz for the next half a page at least. Rava Amar ki pachsi yisrael nami batla. If the Jew dents it, it also would be nullified. However, maybe he's going to pick it up, and then he's going to nullify it. It's going to be an idol in the hands of a Jew, and then it never gets nullified. So the rabbis made a decree that even if it's dented, maybe the Jew is going to think that he can keep it. And then he's going to try to nullify it. And it really wasn't nullified. Well, it could, if he didn't want to keep it, then it would have been nullified. Let me read how they say it over here. The Jew struck the idol with a hammer and he disfigured it. But he did not diminish it quantitatively, since no part of that was lost. Okay, no, that's before. Now we're saying Rava, let's see, 28. Lifting is prescribed method of acquiring abandoned ownerless property. The rabbis were concerned that a Jew would lift the idol before nullifying it, thereby make it his own. Once idol becomes the property of a Jew, it is forbidden forever and requires hiding away. Geniza, as the Gemara explained below. So we're concerned that maybe he's going to acquire it before he breaks it, and then it's never nullified. That's our concern. Nullify means that when you say that this idol is worthless, person takes gets a Smurf. Remember those little guys? He says, "Oh, this is my whatever," and then afterwards he says, "Oh, this is nothing. This doesn't work." So if it's a non-Jew that does that, so he can nullify it, and he can by a Jew he can never nullify an idol. A Jew can nullify a non-Jew can nullify that. So it's sort of like he has control over his idols. So he can make it, he can break it. Okay, so that's our concern over here. It's a gzeira, a rabbinic decree. You follow? We're trying to answer the question on Rish Lakish. According to Rish Lakish, if an idol falls and breaks, it's nullified. And we said 1 second, but if a Jew does that, then it's not nullified. According to Rava is explaining that it's a rabbinic decree that it may be because he's acquiring it before he's breaking it. We have a question. If a non-Jew brings stones from Marculus, Marculus was a type of idol, Mercury, that they would put stones on the corner, and then they would throw stones at it, and it was like 3 stones, 2 stones with 1 on top of it. I thought the what's it called, the Olympic symbol was based on this, but he showed me it wasn't.
No, but this one,
So
newer.
yeah. So, anyways, it was stones on the corner, and the way they worshipped it was to add stones to it by throwing stones in it. Now, throwing stones was a strange worship of idol, but so if he brings stones from the Marculus, and he uses them to pave the road, or what's tartios?
Highways.
Or highways. Mutaris, it's permissible. It means he's nullifying the idol. He's taking the stones from the idol. He's using it for pavement. But the Jew that does it, it's prohibited. Why should it be prohibited? At least it should be that it broke on its own. We'll answer like Rava said. Rava said that there's a decree. If a Jew doesn't, maybe he acquires it before he breaks it. And right? So that's a decree, a rabbinic decree. Ace another question. He sanding it down. He took an idol and he's sanding it down, right? Is that what it says? He's shaving it. Litzarkai, if it's because he needed the shavings, or generally he needed pieces of this for whatever, so then he mutarim. Then obviously he's not considering it an idol, and the pieces that he's taking off is also not an idol. He's nullifying it. Litzarka, but if he says no, it doesn't look nice, I have to give it a little shave down on this side or on that side, I'm going to make it more beautiful, then he assured the idol is still prohibited with shifam mutarim, but what he took off from the idol is permissible because he took it off. He nullified that off the idol. But if a Jew does that shaving, it's always going to be prohibited, even if it's for his own benefit. At least it should be like an idol that broke on its own. According to Rish Lakish, it should be permissible. It says, no, it's a decree like Rava. Maybe he picked up the idol before he did this and he acquired it, and then he can never nullify it. Esvei. There's another question. What you can do here with an idol, if it's metal, is that you can sand it down till it turns into a powder, and you spread it in the wind or you throw it into the sea. Amalai afinas zevel. It's going to become like fertilizer. They add copper to the plants, right? Do they add iron also? You know? No, they add iron to the plants. So ksiv, and it says you can't keep anything from what was prohibited. What's the word? Abandoned? Banded. But at least it should be like it broke on its own. No, we have a concern like Rava as well, that there's a rabbinic decree that maybe Lift picked it up. Rabbi Yossi ben Yassian says, Matzatzuras darken, if you find an image of darken, that's probably like a dragon. What do you have over there? It says a dragon. The head is chopped off. We have a doubt. Was it a non-Jew that cut it off, or was it a Jew that cut it off? We say that it's mutter. We say that it was the non-Jew.
How do you know it's a dragon?
So they did have Chinese restaurants back then.
If a Jew cut it off, then it's asur. Then we say that it's prohibited. Why is it prohibited? At least that's considered like it broke on its own. My answer is Lance like Rava. Maybe he picked it up. Maybe he would pick it up before he's going to break it, and then it's never going to be nullified. Ace for Rabbi Yossi, it's our code word here. That decree is Rava. That's the answer that Rava gave before. We keep using it. Ace for Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yossi says, talking about over here, if you're allowed to plant under an Asherah tree, does the canopy, the shade of the Asherah tree, is that a benefit to the plants? You're not allowed to benefit from an idol. So it depends. If it's in the winter, then it's not a benefit. If it's in the summer, then it is a benefit. But it says even vegetables in the winter is, according to Rabbi Yossi, is a problem, even though there's no benefit from it. Because the foliage that falls off the tree becomes fertilizer for it, and it's a benefit. But that those leaves that fall off are like broken off the idol. It's broke on its own. Shani Hassam, the Gemara answers, the Ikar Avidischam Kayemes. Yes, but the main part of the tree is still the idol is still there. So we consider the pieces that fall off from it also asur. But why didn't you say that when it came to shaving the pieces off the sides? That you said it if the main thing is there, you said nevertheless the pieces that are shaved off are permissible. Here, the leaves that are falling off, you say that's prohibited. So the Gemara says, Rav Huna Breder V'Shua Amar, it was probably Amar Rav Huna Breder V'Shua, it doesn't become nullified if that's the way it grows. When it's the difference between doing an action to it, or if that's just its natural growth where the leaves fall off. Deciduous. I wanted to stop, but I wanted to get to the Mishnah. Okay, this is the questions the opposite. Let's leave it right here by Yesvi. Okay, have a good day, everyone.
Thank you. Everyone say thank you.
Avram Avinu maybe learned this Gemara.
How many? What is this?
Maybe switch next week. Tuesday or
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Josh, for that idea.
How many, Josh? How many chapters of Avodah Zara did Avram have? It says 400, right? Where did you learn that?
He had 400.
400, yeah. We had it in the Gemara somewhere. In Avodah Zara. Sanhedrin, maybe. He had a much longer Gemara. He had a lot more halachas.
But he made a kinyan because he had to watch it. So he broke everything, but he left one, no?
Yeah.
With the stick.
Yeah, I guess Avraham Avinu was before Rava.
Just a little bit.
Just to prove the point.
Yeah, have a great day.
Okay, yeah. Have a great day. Okay.